all, I'm Jamie Lynn Sigler, a mom, actor, and advocate. I know how overwhelming it can be trying to decide which treatment is right for you. I've been there. But you should know you're not alone. You can do this. Start with some research, talk to the community, and most importantly, don't be afraid to ask your doctor questions. You might find results that speak for themselves. That's how I landed on Kesimpta. Ask your doctor if Kesimpta, ofatumumab, could be right for you. You can check out the details at kesimpta.com.
Achtung Millwall is the #1 Millwall podcast, and we're proud to support the wonderful Lions Food Hub. In fact, all of our advertising profits are donated to them. Why not visit the link in our X account if you're able to make a donation? Or, if you prefer, why not pick up an Achtung Millwall t-shirt from the excellent No One Likes Us clothing site, noonelikesus.co.uk. At least £8 from every sale is donated to the Food Hub. Achtung Millwall, No One Likes Us clothing, and the Lions Food Hub, supporting families in the SE16 area.
You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Hello dear listeners, welcome one and all, welcome to Achtung Millwall. It's Monday morning in the wake of Saturday's magnificent 2-1 win at Carrow Road, Norwich City. My name is Nick Hart, you're listening to Achtung Millwall, and it is the famous return of the voicemail show, dear listeners, all your favourite contributors, and I hope one or two new ones to boot. As we just said, brilliant start to the season, wasn't it, on Saturday, dear listeners? I went up there to Carrow Road. A fairly grind of a first half, though we did come on strong towards the end of it. We started to show glimpses of what would follow in the second half. A lot of possession, I thought, for Norwich in the early stages. We looked a little bit ring rusty, I think. But that said, they didn't really create anything in front of goal. One free kick, I remember, being on target. But as the half wore towards the conclusion, we started to show one or two. It was a magnificent shot. It turned out from Camille Negley, I think I said in real time, from Casper de Noor, but it was a long way away from the angle that we had. That's my defence anyway, for my failing eyesight in these latter years. Second half, though, yeah, we really took the game to Norwich. And some magnificent showings, really. I mean, with, you know, the Billy Mitchell standout. I thought Alfie Doughty's through ball for the second goal was work of art. And some real standout performance across the whole team. Cooper and Tanganga on yellow cards, seeing through a second half without a second yellow card against a fairly strong and expensively put together Norwich City outfit. You can take your pick from others. Josh Coburn up front in a wrestling match the whole game. So from top to bottom, it was a real fighting performance. Alex Neil, I mean, what an intelligent manager we have, dear listeners. I thought at the end of the first half, we'd do well to get a point away from a place that we traditionally haven't really succeeded at. Carrow Road, it was 1968 was the last time that we won there. So to get that particular monkey off of our back is wonderful. And Macaulay Langstaff with the winner after Camille Negley put us ahead. Slapstick equaliser. I don't intend to dwell long on the equaliser, but what a magnificent thing for Macaulay Langstaff to again break a hoodoo. He's struggled since he's come to Millwall from a strong goal scoring record in the lower leagues. Hasn't been able to match it in the Championship, but it's really wonderful to see him take that chance with aplomb. And what a through ball from Alfie Doughty. I'm sure that's going to be one of the running themes of the season. The artistry of Alfie Doughty impressed me on Saturday. As I said, Billy Mitchell, what a game! I think in the cold light of day, man of the match. But you can take your pick from a few players in that 11 there, dear listeners. So as I said, this is the voicemail show. We've got quite a few to get through, as you can probably well imagine, in the wake of that win up there in East Anglia, and we're going to kick us off now with our first voicemail of the new season, the first one of 2025-26. It's got to go to Bobby T, isn't it, dear listeners?
Nico, Bobby T, come on, Ashley. Canaries, you fucking Canaries. Yellow Canaries nil, Millwall 1. Come on, Ashley. Man. Fuck off, bipolar fucking Millwall. Nick Hart, you're there, mate. 1-1. Bollocks. Fucking Steve Bender the cunt. Fucking Bender mug. I mean, what is he fucking doing? Nico, Bobby T. Fucking hell, 1968, the last time we beat the fucking Canaries. Macaulay Langstaff, I've said on the show a number of times last season, you can't cut it at Millwall. I might have been wrong, but I'll tell you this today, mate. If you feed him, if you feed the goat, if you feed the little midget, the old Gary Lineker, I mean, fucking Alfie Doherty on the pitch, fucking dream football. You just got to feed him. I mean, he's a bit part. Come on, 20-minute sub player, useful, smash and grab, 2-1 Millwall win. I'm fucking happy. What a weekend. But again, Alfie Doherty, ball, through ball, Langstaff confidence. Here we go, up and running. Another 45 to go. But you know what? Millwall season, we're coming to the Premier League. Bye for now, what we say. Canaries, you fucked it. Meh. Bye for now, what we say.
There you go, the full range, the full gamut of human emotions there with Bobby, as you would expect. Big thank you there to Bob. Steve Bender, he mentions, and obviously the depths of despair in the wake of that strange goal, strange equalising goal off the arse of Josh Sargent. Clearance hits him, and you know, not chance in a million it can happen, but a long shot chance rebounds back into the net for one each. I must admit, in the moment, having just gone ahead via that magnificent strike by Camille Negley, it felt like a bit of a kick in the Gooley Woolies. But we did well to come back from that, I thought, Bob. And also I want to say about Steve Bender, obviously magnificent name. I mean, you know, what a name. But there we are. No one can help their name in this life, dear listeners, nor can they help their face, can they? He made some good saves, and he looked reassuring in goal, apart from that one, you know, a bad piece of bad luck. But he made some crucial blocks, some crucial takes from crosses, particularly towards the end when we're coming under a little bit of pressure, and you could see, you know, Mill of old, their legs were getting tired. Mill of old might have let that slip. He took one well, and he made one or two crucial blocks from close range efforts from Norwich. They didn't have that much, but when they did get a shot on target, he was there. He stood up. So I want to say well done to Steve Bender, because obviously, you know, that was a bit of a Fred Carno's slapstick army moment, wasn't it, for the equaliser, and that could play on your mind if you let it. So well done, Steve Bender. Good overall performance, and the same for Femi Aziz, who I thought was very strong, and of course Mr. Howler, but that's the way football goes. Feed the midget. I'm not sure about that as a tagline, Bob, but I like your emotion, mate, and I'm glad you're happy. So big thank you there to Bobby T. Let's go now with Hassan Koulé.
Nick, it's Hassan here. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I've got to say, what a win. What a performance today. Amazing to think, really, isn't it? The first win at Carrow Road since 1968. It's good to put that to bed now. I've got to be honest with you, I was a little bit nervous going into today's game. I think purely because the club are making so much noise, and the signings we've made and the indications from the club and the management that we're looking to actually push on and try and compete in this league. And our pre-season has been excellent. I've watched pretty much all of the games as much as I could on Millwall TV. The only one I went to was Sutton away, and going into today's game, I'm thinking, right, we're not playing Sutton now. We're not playing Bromley. We're now playing a decent outfit in Norwich City on paper. And let's face it, the first 20 minutes, we were a bit under the cosh. It was the first time I've seen this particular side. I want to say second best, but we bided our time. Norwich obviously at home, first game of the season, new manager. Everyone wanted to impress, and you know, thankfully we came through that early test, and then as the first half wore on, we started to get back into the game bit by bit, and thankfully got to half time at 0-0. I think the only chance of merit for us in the first half was a Negley shot. Obviously, second half was where it all kicked into life, and again from Mr. Camille Negley. I watched the goal back several times, and he does so well. If you get a chance to watch it, Cooper pumps the ball up long to Coburn Coburn flicks it onto Ivanovic. What Negley does, he's so smart, and he done it also when he scored his first goal for the club against Borough last season. He doesn't sit and wait. He gets in the box. He runs central. If you watch the goal back from today, you can see as soon as Coburn wins the ball, Negley's in the centre of the field. The right wing position, Kramer's beyond the halfway line. He's an absolute monster. How he gets up and down that wing. The fact that he's actually a natural centre back, not a natural right back, it amazes me. But if you ever get a chance to watch it and you freeze it, when Coburn wins the flick on, Negley's in the middle, Kramer is on the wing, and you just watch Negley. He just continues his run into the middle. Mahalo does well to get a crossover, and the finish from Negley is outstanding. Flicks it out with his right foot onto his left foot, bang, 1-0. Again, it's exactly like if anyone watched the Borough goal from last season, it's almost a carbon copy. It's a fantastic finish, and it was funny because I watched the game with my brother and my dad, and I was saying to them at half time, I've actually thought Negley had I don't want to say poor first half, but he was a little bit below par compared to everyone else, and then he just pulled that out of the hat. End of the day, you know, if he's going to play, if he has a bit of a poor game, but he comes up with a goal here and an assist there, you can live with that. So I thought it was a good goal. I'm glad he got it as well. As I said, I thought the first half he struggled a little bit. Maybe his fitness, first game as well, but it was good for him to get on the score sheet. And then typical Millwall, we go and shoot ourselves in the foot. Mr. Bender, who, to be honest with you, I thought he had a decent game, commands his box well, catches the ball quite well. You know, let's just put it down to the fact that he doesn't play a lot of football. I don't think he's kicked the ball for Fulham, and he's been out on loan here and there. End of the day, it hasn't cost us today. We've won the game. It happens. Shit happens. He'll get over it. He'll learn his lesson. So let's just put that to bed. You know, and that's done. But the players show great character to um, get their chin back up, keep pushing forward. Aziz, bless him, missed the open goal, but he'll score more than he'll miss, I believe, this season. I don't worry about that. And let's face it, I think the hero of the day, one of many heroes, shall I say, Langstaff. I'm so happy for him. And I have to say, Nick, when I actually went Sutton away the other week, absolute 100% carbon copy. That pass from Doughty down that left wing, which cuts through the defence, and Langstaff running onto it. Absolute carbon copy. The only difference is Langstaff took it round the keeper against Sutton, whereas today he nutmegged it. I was so happy for Langstaff because he could have easily asked for a loan to go back to League Two. 100% Notts County would have taken him in a heartbeat. But I reckon the club probably said to him, listen, you can go out and loan. I reckon he said no. So listen, I'm staying here. I'm fighting for my place. And he looked good in pre-season. He looked strong. He looked fit. When I saw him against Sutton, he got that hat trick. I thought, all right, it was good that he got 3 goals, but it is Sutton. But today, he done what he was asked to do. And again, hats off to Alex Neil. He took a long time to change it. He waited to as long as he had to, and it worked. He brought on Kundal. I thought Kundal looked good when he came on. Very busy. And obviously, Langstaff getting the winner. What more can you say? Great start to the season. A few mentions of players. I thought everyone had a good game pretty much. Cooper was a bit shaky here and there. Tanganga was a monster at the back as usual. Billy Mitchell, Kramer, either one of them, maybe even Dougherty for man of the match. I thought Kramer was unbelievable, unbelievable. Going forward, defending, he's got it all. All he needs is to get a goal now. He hasn't scored for us at all. Unbelievable the fact that he came in as a centre back and he's doing a job at right back. I can see why the club haven't bought a right back. Even though after last season I was adamant that we need a right back, he has come on leaps and bounds. What a player, honestly. Dinor, calm and assured as usual. Aziz and Negley had a good game. Coburn and Ivanovic, surprisingly, I wouldn't. They were a bit quiet in front of goal. I think we found it difficult to get them involved, but Coburn had a part to play in the goal, so did Mahalo. And that's all you can ask for from your strikers. If not going to score, get involved with setting up other goals. So overall, a brilliant day, a brilliant result. Absolutely buzzing with that, and it's good to be back. Nick, I hope you're well. I've been enjoying your content over the last few weeks, especially with the other podcasters. Yeah, some real good stuff. Um, sorry about your fuck up the other day interviewing. Who was you interviewing? Is it Ryan Leonard? No. But anyway, It was good though. It was good to listen. No, that's it. Femi Aziz. I'm sure he spoke as well as you spoke as well. But all the best, mate. And on to the next one. Ta-ra.
Thanks for reminding me, Hassan. Yeah, it's Femi Aziz, mate, and Billy actually. I messed up the recorder I was using, listeners. We don't want to dwell on that. We don't want to dwell on that. Two very intelligent players. Really like Femi. So glad we pulled off a result on Saturday to compensate for that miss. Again, as Hassan has said, shit happens. The Bender incident, and then the Aziz miss. On other days that could have gone badly wrong for us, but it all works out fine in the end. Really nice summary there, Hassan. Thank you for the kind words, mate. You're right. We will face some decent sides in this division. Norwich are a decent side, dear listeners. They were a bit stiff. They've brought in a lot of new players, new manager, and I'm sure they're going to improve. They certainly have some quality players there, some expensive players, if nothing else. And I understand they're turning away big money for the likes of Josh Sargent. So this is the kind of level we're going to face. And what was really heartening for me on Saturday particularly was that we found a way round it. I was a bit nervous at the start of the game. Like Hassan has just said, I must admit I was slightly dreading what might come, because there's been a lot of wave of optimism. We all know how Millwall, that you can be deflated with just one small pinprick, and on other days some of the they didn't create many chances, but some bad luck will go your way, against you rather, and it all comes tumbling down. So yeah, going into the game, I was also, and certainly at the start of the game, I thought we might struggle, but we really took hold of it in the second half, as we've said. The Kramer cross, I mean, he'd made a couple of howlers leading up to the goal, dear listeners, and it was just a beautiful goal when it did come. And as Hassan has said, the way that Negley took that and finished that chance was was wonderful. And to be there in amongst all of that mayhem in the away stand when that went in, I hope it came across on the live recording. The actuality of it was something to behold. And then of course we fall flat on our face a few moments later, but let's not dwell on that. The Langstaff goal was another moment just like that, though. I thought we deserved something from the game, being Millwall fans, as the team were getting tired, and Alex Neil took his time making his subs. He must know what he's doing, and I'm not going to knock him, but I thought, blimey, a few minutes earlier, we needed some subs. I thought Coburn was looking very tired. One or two else in the side were looking like they needed a break from it. It was a very warm day in the stadium there in Norwich, and it must have been draining. And he took his time making his subs, but he knows what he's doing. Brought on the right players at the right time, and that combination of Doughty and Langstaff, that might be one to look out for in the future, because the way he took that chance. As Hassan has said, he could have gone back to the Notts County. He could have scored goals big in the League Twos, the National League even. He could do okay there. Something in the boy says stick around at this level. He wants to try and make it at this level, and you've got to admire that. So big shout out to Macaulay Langstaff, and a big thank you there to Hassan Koulé. We're going to take one more, and then we'll take a break for the adverts. Let's go now with Aussie Dave. Let's have Aussie Dave, all the way from Perth in Western Australia.
Nick, Aussie Dave here, after a great win at Norwich. Here we are, back in the land of dreams and heartache. Well, at least let's get on to the game. Strangely, we had all these high expectations. We're going to have a good season. And the game really lived up to our expectations, which isn't easy to do. So maybe we are. Onwards and upwards. On to the match. Overall, I thought our style of play is a quantum leap of previous years. There's a clear purpose and structure and great interlinking play between the whole team. So really optimistic, and that showed in the style of play. Onto the game itself. The first 25 minutes, all a bit tight, and we really, it was Norwich was in control. But the key to me in the whole game is the half-time tactical talk by Alex Neil. You can see in the second half we came out and we pressed more aggressively, and particularly won quite a few more 50-50 duels. So Alex Neil, wow, gets better every game. Focusing on particular individuals, I just want to look at 3 or 4 man of the match candidates. Number 1, Alfie. Wow, what a classy fullback he is, and his exquisite pass for that second goal, and really adds a level of quality we haven't had before. My only minor gripe in the whole little talk I'm doing is that his dead ball crossing from corners and free kicks a lot of times never seemed to go past the first defender, which is a problem we've had in the past. So I was slightly disappointed by that, very minor. Second person I want to talk about is Bender. We all know about his mistake, but I thought overall he gave me some confidence in the way he handled the ball, and he made a couple of critical saves. So overall, I'm quite happy with him in that position. Couple of more players want to cover. The third player for man of the match contention was Crammer. He was superb at right back. As we know, he made the first goal, and just marauding down that right wing. He's got pace, he's got skill, and he still does excellent defensive duties. And the final player was my man of the match, and that's one of our own, Billy. I think that's one of the best games he's played. He seemed more aggressive and more forward-looking, and he was all over the place, and long may it happen. So anyway, first game over with, the adrenaline's overflowing. Come on, you Lions.
Hey all, I'm Jamie Lynn Sigler, a mom, actor, and advocate. I know how overwhelming it can be trying to decide which treatment is right for you. I've been there. But you should know you're not alone. You can do this. Start with some research, talk to the community, and most importantly, don't be afraid to ask your doctor questions. You might find results that speak for themselves. That's how I landed on Kesimpta. Ask your doctor if Kesimpta, ofatumumab, could be right for you. You can check out the details at kesimpta.com.
Achtung, Millwall.
Hello, hello. Happy summer. Joe from Chicago. We won at Carroll Road. It's been like an hour. I'm still shocked. That doesn't happen, especially after Benda does that thing. Which, let me tell you, the amount of American football writers and people who are crediting Sargent for that is a story for a different day. But, wow, what a performance. The Langstaff getting that goal was crucial. Doughty, his corners were crap, but man, that feed was great. Tristan Krama clearly embracing that right back role. Wow, just sensational from him. Negley's got something. Ivanovic's work rate was so great. Seeing the effort he put in, understanding it wasn't his best game, was truly like one of the coolest things you can watch from a young player with that kind of talent. Coburn still moves like a glacier with not even on wheels, on feet, I guess. But wow, I'm excited. Weathering both center backs being on yellow cards by the 40th minute. That's the type of performance that gives you hope. Now, I'm sure we're going to lose in the League's Cup midweek, which honestly I don't really care. But wow. Hey, let's hope Nisbet gets some goals so he can get paid. But what a performance. What a way to open the year. We win at Carroll Road. I expect a loss. I was content with a point winning at Carroll Road. Just wow. This team's got something behind it. Benda's got to figure it out. That was hilarious. That was so bad. I'm glad it didn't end up costing the team, but gosh. Whew. Cheers. Safe travels back. Bash.
Welcome back, Joe. And before the break, welcome back, Dave, in Australia. Big thank you to Chicago, Joe there. I'm loving the idea that the US commentariats are crediting Josh Sargent with that goal. They probably are the same ilk as was it the assistant or the mayor of Los Angeles who congratulated ex-Tottenham star Son for signing for the LA Galaxy and thinking that he can now play for the US of A and win the World Cup for the land of the free. I don't think she understood how football works, but anyway, there's nothing there. But I am not here to knock the United States of America, dear listeners. I love America. It's just quite amusing, the misunderstandings that occur. Anyway, back to the game. Josh Coburn, I did think he was being manhandled badly there, Joe. I mean, American football, rugby league, maybe it's all acceptable to, kind of have your arms around your opponent. But Josh Coburn was trying to run with a man hanging on him half the time. So, yeah, I think he'll improve. I think he'll improve from that. He's got to work out a way to deal with that kind of attention, though. That's for sure. Aussie Dave, yeah, purpose and pattern to the play, Dave. I agree. It's a common theme in all of these recent shows and the content around all the podcasts and vlogs and all the rest of it online. The intelligence of Alex Neil as a manager is something we've not really seen. Possibly going back as far back as Mark McGee and the like, and that era, maybe even going back to the Bruce Rioch, early Mick McCarthy days, where we had a real football pattern of play that took other opponents apart when we needed to. So Millwall managers have tended towards the blood and thunder rather than the surgeon's scalpel. And it's just fascinating to watch it unfold. I think he will make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, but I thought Saturday was a masterclass in tactical awareness. So big thank you there to Aussie Dave and to Chicago Joe. Incidentally, dear listeners, if you want to contribute to these voicemail shows, do hit me up. Do message me on X. We can exchange mobile phone numbers. I'm very happy for anyone to send in voice notes. By far the easiest and simplest way to put these kinds of shows together is just WhatsApp me your post-match thoughts. One request, if I may, because I've had a couple of inquiries from kids under the age of 16. Can you use your parents' phone? I don't want to be, exchanging numbers with underage children. You can understand that, dear listeners, and do get their permission to do it. I don't want to get involved in any, any hint of any problems of that kind. So, use your parents' phone with their permission, and do bear in mind that you're coming into a show where there's no cap imposed on people's language. I don't believe in revolving my world around swearing and effing and blinding, but equally we are at Millwall, so just keep that in mind too. But if you do want to contribute to the show, you're more than welcome. Always good to hear from people. X me, message me. We'll exchange mobile numbers. Let's make it an adult phone though, dear listeners. You get where I'm coming from, I hope, on that one. Anyway, let's move along. Let's go now with Matt Richards. Big thank you to Matt.
Oh, Nick, what a day, what a win. Welcome back to Millwall. Welcome to the new season. Unbelievable, really. Somebody said to before the game that we're going to get a win, then I was thinking I'd take a draw, but to get a win against a decent Norwich team that spent a lot of money, I got a new manager and I got a bed down. I suppose we've got a manager who's been in position now for 8 months, and we've got a pretty consistent team. But still, what a result! And the optimism we've got already. That's just gonna, it just times it by 10, doesn't it? Really. Don't want to get carried away, but fantastic. I didn't go, so couldn't get a ticket. But fantastic support up there. What a day you guys must have had up there. Really, really envious. But I think the things I'm going to take away from it are that we just played really well, especially like the second half and even towards the end of the first. We dominated the game. And I think it's Alex Neil's tactical nous. He makes tactical changes, which perhaps our fans don't really see, but we definitely push forward more in the second half and just playing direct attacking football. You think about the first goal, Coburn's flick on Mika out to Kramer, great ball. Kramer played brilliant, didn't he? And great touch and finish by Negley. I thought Negley, I think he's going to take a while to really kind of adapt to the game, the game over here. But you can see his touches of class. Just some of his passes and he's shooting, with both feet, because he had a chance for his right foot in the first half, first time, which is a good shot. So, even though we played well yesterday, I still think there's more to come. And then, Alfred Doty, again, he plays some great balls. I think when his fitness is improved as well, I think we'll see even more from him. But what a ball for the second goal, and everybody is so pleased for Langstaff. Anybody, and I've been one of them, who kind of been critical and thinking he's not good enough. We want him to do well. We wanted to come good. And this could be, the impetus, after, scoring a few goals in pre-season as well, and that finish yesterday. How great would it be that we've got somebody like him pushing Ivanovic and Coburn up front? That's what we want. We want kind of strong strikers and strong strikers on the bench. Just fantastic, really. You kind of, Alex Neil, just, you don't want to get carried away, but it's difficult not to, really. He just seems to know it all, doesn't he? He seems to know he'll talk so well, decisions he makes, and it's a great feeling at the moment. We just got to kind of keep it going, and who knows, eh? Who knows? But fantastic performance, great result, and let's go on to the next game. Cheers, Nick. Good to be back. See you, mate. Bye.
Cheers, Matt. Yeah, Alex Neil. Obviously, the praise is flowing. I think the only, let's not get carried away. You're right, and it's dead easy at Millwall to get carried away because we're unused to success. I sometimes think we don't really know how to deal with success. Alex Neil seems a very intelligent manager. He's able to take decisions in game that change matches. We've seen it last season, so I don't think I'm over giving it too much hyperbole, dear listeners, but also we did see it Saturday when the second half particularly, Norwich had a couple of moments, but not much, and a lucky equaliser, but apart from that, we really took the game to them in a way that exploited areas of their vulnerability, so that's down to the manager. One thing that really struck me, I think I said this previously, I will repeat it because I think it does bear repeating, is when Alex Neil came to us, I did think he might be your stereotype stern Scottish manager, but he's quite a warm character, and I think the players respond to that because he's both intelligent, clearly knows what he's doing, and he's a warm personality. I think that's what, watching the behind the scenes video that the club made, that came across there. So all set fair. It was a great away day on Saturday. It's one of those days that you kind of live for as a Millwall fan, and the general kind of mania of the first goal and then the second goal was something to behold. Just want to mention Camille Negley. I think it was Hassan earlier on mentioned how in the first half, and I said this the same, that I thought Negley was a little bit off the pace. I think I mentioned it to Ben Anthony in the ground. Slightly, wasn't quite with it. Then he goes and scores a wonderful finish. And he also made a terrific defensive block in the second half when it was 1-1. He cleared back, and for your general image of your attacking winger is a flamboyant glory boy going forwards, not the man that does the work, but he does, and I was really impressed with him overall. If your only contributions are to make decisive match-winning goals, or match-saving goals, shall we say, and then blocks, then fair play. So yeah, Camille Negley, great signing, and it's hard not to get carried away. But big thank you there to Matt Richards. Let's go now to Simon.
Good afternoon, Nick. Welcome to the new season. So finally, the curse of Carrow Road has been lifted. After 57 years of pain and heartache and last-minute equalisers and winners, we finally pick up 3 points at Carrow Road. That's it. We're winning the league. We're winning the lot. On to yesterday's game. First 20-25 minutes, it was same old. Same as we always are at Carrow Road. And I'm thinking, do you know what? If we can get a 0-0 here, I'll take that. And then we're getting at half time, 0-0. And you think, oh, okay. Second half, there was only one team in it, apart from the mistake by our goalkeeper, which he'll learn from. They did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. Defence, superb. Kramer, mate, the guy is magnificent. He's the next one who's going in the summer for 25 million. The man is just incredible at football. His run and cross for Kramer's goal was beautiful. He didn't even bother looking up. He just knew exactly where Kramer was going to be and put the ball there. The defending, well, if you can call it defending, if you're going to leave a player unmarked in the penalty area, he's only going to do one thing, which is stick the ball in the back of the net, which he did. So that's normally us. But this is a different Millwall this season. Well, it looks like it. Different animal. We get the mistake by the goalkeeper. Okay, stuff happens. It's Josh Sargent. Of course it is. He always scores against us. You know, in other news, water is wet. But then this Millwall side didn't sit back. Didn't just give up. Previous managers would have gone all defensive, stuck on a couple of midfielders, couple of defenders. Okay, we got a 1-1. Okay, let's sit it out and we'll take the point and we'll go home. Not Alex Neil. No. We'll stick on some attackers. Yeah, that's like, okay. Coburn's not working so much. Okay, we'll stick Macaulay Langstaff on, see what he can do. And then carbon copy of the goal against Sutton United. Beautiful assist pass from Arrivederci. Macaulay Langstaff runs onto it, calmly strokes it under the keeper. Where's he been hiding? You know, it's finally nice to see Macaulay Langstaff can actually play football and score goals. It's a good thing. So we leave Carrow Road with 3 points. After last night's result against Sheffield United, it's third in the table. Not that it means anything after one game. We'll see where we are after 10. But I'm hopeful this season, Nick. Anyway, onwards and upwards to Borough. Come on, you Lions.
Fantastic. Big thank you, Simon. Yeah, I'm joining you in the optimism, mate. There was a lot of good stuff that we saw Saturday and areas where we will improve. I do think that the start of the game, first half, the bulk of the first half, certainly to the last, 5 minutes or so, we looked a little bit creaky and we weren't exactly clinging on. Wouldn't go that far, but we certainly looked a bit ring rusty, and we were acquiring yellow cards for Tanganga and for Cooper. I've said it already, I'm going to say it again. If I repeat myself, do forgive me, listeners, it's my age. But to manage out a game on 2 yellow cards from 2 critical defensive positions and not draw that second yellow was a tribute to both players. Jake Cooper tends to be stereotyped a little bit as the big boy, but not maybe the most gifted of footballers, where it takes real skill and discipline and application to manage out a game where you're going to be coming up against opponents who are trying to rough you up. And both he and Jeffat Tanganga did really well. Optimism, we've got to temper our optimism a little bit because we are still in the transfer zone, aren't we? Fingers crossed. I've got everything crossed. Don't know about you, dear listener. I've got everything crossed that we can retain the services of both Ivanovic up front and Jeffat Tanganga. I read on the train going up to Norwich that we turned away a £3.5 million bid from Sassuolo of the Italian Serie A, which is ambition on a level that none of us are used to at Millwall. Let's be really honest, dear listeners. Curse of Carrow Road is a good phrase. I'm going to nick that. Some we don't have it anymore, so I can't nick it. No point in nicking it. But I've always thought it's quite an odd curse to have because the city of Norwich is a really nice place, fantastic looking place. It's a really beautiful sunny day, and the atmosphere in Norwich is not a threatening one at all, listeners. It's quite a family Delia Smith style setup there, isn't it? So it's a very odd, a very Millwall place to build a hoodoo, but it's now been banished. So big thank you there to Simon. We're going to take a short break now for some adverts, and then we'll be back after that with Jim Hackett. Stay tuned, dear listeners. You can hear Achtung Millwall via all of the major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music. You can even tune into us via YouTube. Ooh, Arcatin.
Morning, Nick. Jim Hackett here. Thought I'd give you a call this morning after the great start from the mighty Millwall. It's a beginning of a season that I think everybody was very positive, looking forward. And after yesterday's show, I think we've got a little bit more positivity in there. The game itself, I thought the first 15, 20 minutes, although Norwich had plenty of possession and lots of the ball and looked tidy and hard-working, they didn't create too much. They had a couple of free kicks, but I thought the goalkeeper then looked his part as well. So I was quite happy with him at that point. And as the game, or as the first half sort of moved forward, we seemed to come into it more. And then when we did get the ball wide and managed to get a cross or two in, we looked like we were going to cause them problems. And I think Negley had a shot just before half time that was well saved, and the follow-up wasn't sort of dealt with at all. And Norwich just seemed to not really have an answer to what we were trying to do. And then come the second half, I thought it was not comfortable, because it wasn't comfortable, but at the same time, we looked more threatening. I think every time we went forward with a bit of space, we looked like we could do some damage to them. And ultimately, it was after a couple of poor crosses that he tried to put in. Crammer put that fantastic cross in, and Negley, what a great finish. He controlled it first time and then delivered the ball at the back of the net with his second touch, and that was a great reward, I think, for the way the team came out for the second half. As for their goal, I think Bender will probably look at himself and be slightly disappointed, because he did have the opportunity to clear it rather than take a touch, and it was that taking a touch that allowed the Norwich striker to close him down. And unfortunately, when we have those sort of chances, the ball goes wide of the goal. When opposition have it, it goes into our goal, and they didn't really deserve it, Norwich. And unfortunately, it's a real sort of stain on what I thought was a good performance from Bender. I thought he looked the part, and everything else he did. I think for 5 minutes after that goal, he couldn't quite get himself back into focusing. But then after that, he performed okay. So we got the winner, and Bender will be forgiven, I think, for that sort of mistake, because it could happen to most goalkeepers, the way everybody's trying to play with their feet now. As for our winner, I thought it was a fantastic goal. It was a ball that we sort of came out with from our defence, went forward back to Doughty, and then what we've been lacking for a long time with that sort of passer, somebody who can just deliver the ball as a proper pass into a striker. And you've got to say how fantastic for Langstaff. He's waited the season, to be able to do that. Last year, he didn't seem to get any luck. This time, he got the ball and he looked so assured, and we finished it. And what a fantastic feeling that was for everybody. And obviously, that you could see it in not just the players, but the crowd and everybody. It was a goal worthy to win the game. Overall, thought our back four, although they sort of cleared a lot and did okay, I just felt all the time that both Tanganga and Cooper didn't look as settled as they could have done, and there's a worry there for me in that the better teams might get at us a bit. I think Tanganga will always sort of do his part and improve and get in the way of things, but I think Jake Cooper for me is sometimes he's an accident waiting to happen. With strikers with pace, you can see it. The way Sargent was onto him yesterday all the time, but ultimately we didn't give them any chances. What half chances they did get, I think everybody dealt with quite well. And as a group, as a team, I thought we played very well second half. And if that's the start of things, then let's hope we can just keep it going. I think Alex Neil spoke really well afterwards about the if you like the pressure of wanting to improve for this year. But if that's the standard we've got, then that's fine. That's a benchmark for us to go forward with. So overall, very happy with the win, very happy with the second half, and long may it continue. So come on, you Lions.
Big thank you, Jim. Yeah, I just want to dwell a moment on the team support, the team performance. Chap behind me when I was saying, man of the match at the end of the game, he said the whole lot of them. And I'm kind of with him on that, actually, because it did take a team performance to pull off a win at a place where we famously struggled. But I was really struck by the team support for Macaulay Langstaff when he scored the goal, listeners. Obviously slotted it away with aplomb. It's a huge piano lifted off of his back. And to do that against the quality side, this wasn't some kind of Caribou Cup, Newport away type situation. It was the proper league. It was a proper side, and he put it away like a king. And but I was really struck by the way the players surrounded him, pushed him forward at the end when the crowd were acclaiming the team at full time, and they made him go forward and take a bow, so to speak. I managed to get a little bit on video, and I put it on X. Quite hard to see. I haven't got Zoom, can't do it all, but it was really striking how they have supported Macaulay Langstaff. And as one of the earlier callers said, he stuck around. He could have gone, really. I reckon that no one would have, got in his way if he said, I really want to go back to Notts County or to who knows where, Bromley or somewhere, and I want to score goals at a lower level. The boy has an ambition within him to perform at this level, and it's fantastic to see him get a little bit of a way towards it with that goal on Saturday. And the team support is really striking. This is a decent bunch of blokes, in my opinion. Having met them at the media day, I know I didn't record the interviews, listeners, but both Billy and Femi, they're blokes that you would be happy to meet. I didn't get any sense of there's no arseholes around. You don't get any great depth, obviously, on a day like that. But I didn't get any sense of any dickheads, as the famous cliche has it, the All Blacks thing. No dickheads. There we go. So I'm going to string one or two together now to play us out. We're going to begin with Harry Warren, and we'll follow it with Jim Littler and Glenn Horner.
Well, good morning, dear listeners. Harry Warren here. The morning after the night before, shall we say. What a fantastic win yesterday to start the season. When was the last time we beat Norwich at Norwich? I mean, I don't think I've seen enough of that being posted this week. 1968. I've been there numerous times, like many of you would have been. I think I've even been there. I think Morrison scored and we were 3-2 up with about 2 minutes to go. Can't remember what year it was, but by saying Morrison, it should give you one of 3 different spells to pick from. But we were 3-2 up with about 2 minutes to go, and they won 4-3. So I just had it in my head that we will never win at Norwich. So to start the season as we did, yeah, they weren't great last season, but there was kind of, if anyone didn't go to the game, well, anyone that went to the game won't have known this, but the Sky the Sky commentary team seemed to be on full let's blow smoke up Norwich's arse and how great it is for them to have Liam Manning, obviously Birmingham City, Bristol City's manager last season, who got them to the playoffs, and obviously that meant that instantaneously they'd turn around Norwich overnight. But more importantly, on to us. We were, for 20 minutes, the away side. That's how I'd say. We sat in, we were decent, we were defensively solid, and then we started to grow into the game. I thought that Femi Aziz and Tristan Crammer were fantastic. I thought Aziz's miss is bad, but other than that, that's the only bad thing he did all day. I thought Alfie Doherty was amazing on debut, and let's be honest, I don't think he's been bought to play left back. And if, we've suddenly got attacking options, something that we've never really, well, not never really had, but probably not had as many since Morrison and Gregory, and also in the Championship, probably not had this many since sort of the golden era of Cahill, Reid, Ifill, Harris, Sadlier, Claridge, you name it. I feel like this is it. This is the year. Yeah, it was a kick in the bollocks last season to lose Essay and Fleming, but they've reinvested the money, the Berylsons, and you can't knock them for that. I'll be a lot happier when the window closes, because if we start like a train, then we don't normally start like a train anyway. But if we start like a train, we will be facing more offers and more questions about what's a good deal and what isn't a good deal. So let's hope the window closes lively. Middlesbrough at home next week, who apparently are supposed, by the preview, supposed to be the worst Middlesbrough side in a few years. But that means fuck all. Football's not played on paper. And I think just more of the same, really. Ivanovic yesterday was quiet, other than, the bits of work that he did do, I thought was really good. He's going to get more attention this season off players, I think, because I think teams will try and stop him, thinking they're going to stop us. But I thought Josh Coburn done really, really well yesterday. He made a lot of sort of unselfish runs in behind and didn't really get, anything from his work. But it was really noticeable that he put himself on the line. And I just liked how he played. I thought we were fantastic and sensible, and we pressed when we needed to, and we didn't press when we didn't need to. And we were just an all-round brilliant performance. It's only one game, but we are Millwall fans, so we will obviously now be in our heads the best team in the league. And HMS Pistol League has started up, and Alex Neil needs a statue and a night in with the freedom of Bermondsey. That's kind of what we do, and that's kind of the fun of it. So long may it continue, because, as I said, I think this is the year. Last night, obviously, watched a lot of the games. I haven't seen anyone that terrifies me. Bristol City, for the scoreline, if you didn't see it, fucking shot 4 times, I think, and all of them went into, were deflected. So, you need a bit of luck, and let's hope we get luck with injuries and so on this season. And I've probably rabbited on for far too fucking long, nearly as long as that walk that me, Nick, and Michael and various others, Graham and various others did on in the summer. But Nick can fill you in on that. But anyway, come on, you Lions, roll on to Saturday, and hopefully a packed den in beautiful sort of August sunshine, and maybe win 2 or 3-0 would be nice. Anyway, come on, you Lions.
Hello, Nick. Jim Littler, mate. Hope you're well. Just back from six-fingered tractor driving, carrot crunch in Norwich. Fucking great day, mate. First half, first 20 minutes, I think we just contained them, really. I think Neil just said, just keep it tight. They didn't look all that, though, did they, to be fair? And then I think we grew into the game second half. Thought Aziz a bit quiet in the first half, but I thought he was superb second half. Obviously, really good goal from Negley. That'll give him a lot of confidence. And as for Langstaff, I don't think anyone around me could believe that he'd gone and scored a winner on the first day of the season. So, yeah, quality that was, mate. Man of the match, Billy Mitchell. Said it a few times last season. He's not everyone's favourite, but when he plays like that, he makes us tick. He's changed so much since the days of sort of Harris, then Rowett, then Harris again. He looks forward now, and he rarely loses the ball. And his work rate, him and Dinor in midfield, just stifled them in the second half, I thought. So, yeah, brilliant start to the season, mate. Let's hope we can continue it. Absolutely knackered. Love it. Cheers, Nick. All the best.
Hiya, Nick. Glenn here. Welcome back. It's good to be seeing a new season. I think, first of all, let's just talk about Norwich. What a great game. What a great start. I think, all in all, I think Norwich were very underwhelming. I don't think they showed a huge threat at all going forward, and they looked a bit flaky at the back. So if Josh Sargent does leave them, I think they're going to be a sort of top half team, but only just. I don't think they're going to do much more than that. I'm really excited about what I saw from Doughty and Aziz down that left-hand side. Those two look like a proper partnership, and they were ripping holes through that defensive midfield. And Doughty's pass to Langstaff for the goal was reminiscent of the goal Langstaff scored against, I think it was Sutton United. A ball through the defence, cuts it in half, and Langstaff timing his run beautifully, and then finishing with real class. And hopefully this is the moment where Langstaff finds the confidence and gets a little run of games where he might actually start coming on and impacting games and possibly even starting. So really delighted for him. I think Mitchell has to be for me man of the match. He was all over the park. He was doing the battling, the hard fighting. He won every battle, or pretty much every battle I saw him. But I think also his passing was excellent, and he created opportunities going forward, which is often the criticism that gets levelled at him, which I don't think is fair. I think it's fair to say that our defence, much like Norwich's, is still gelling. I think Sargent surprised our keeper and surprised Cooper on a couple of occasions at just how quick he is getting to the ball if your touch isn't absolutely on par. So it looked to me like our defence were probably lacking a bit of sort of mid-season sharpness, and they'll probably have that in 2 or 3 games' time. So I'm not too worried about that. I think the keeper, take that lapse of concentration out, had a very, very good game. I think his kicking is superb. His handling looks good. He's a very confident young man, and to sort of have that mistake and then carry on the rest of the game and still put in an excellent performance, I think speaks volumes. So I, as much as I feel for Crocombe, I can see now why they've gone for Bender to start, and if he continues in this vein, I think he'll be a very good keeper. But I've got to say that lapse of concentration is easily fixed. It's not like when we think back to Long and other keepers we've had in the past, where they clearly don't judge the flight of the ball very well, or they don't have the reactions. You can't train that into a keeper. But I think when it comes to sort of just understanding the speed and pace of the game and concentration, you can train that. That's why I'm not really worried about that. It's the second time we've started the season with a goalkeeper clanger, but this time we won the game, so that's really good news. So I think all in all, superb performance, really encouraging. I very rarely put a bet on because I just don't really enjoy it, but this year I did put a bet on us making top 6. I've very rarely gone into a season, and I've been following the Lions since it goes back to the 70s, really. I can't remember going into a season feeling this confident about the depth of our squad and looking at the number of players that we have that I think would get into the top 6 sides in the division. I'm not saying all of our players would, but I think there's a good 6 or 7 that would. And we've got every chance of making it. So there we go. That's my first contribution for the season. It's great to be back, and hello to all you old Millwall fans. Let's look forward to this season. I think it might be a record. Come on, you Lions.
It's good to have you back, Glyn. It's good to have Jim back and Harry before that. It's good to have everyone back, all the people on the show. You too, dear listeners out there. It's wonderful to be back, especially in the atmosphere of such optimism. Just going back to one of Harry's points, I also watched last night, actually. I took the chance to have a look on the ITV app and had a look at the highlights of the other clubs. Now, I know these are very, very condensed highlights of the other championship sides of the whole Football League, for that matter, but we're only talking about the championship on this show. And I also wasn't all that struck by anyone. I mean, no, I know it's it's naive to make sweeping judgments based on condensed clips of often just goals or main moments. But I wasn't overly impressed by anybody. Let's put it this way: I didn't think anyone looked unbeatable based on what I saw in the ITV highlight show. Now, I might fall flat on my face next week against Middlesbrough. The whole club might fall flat on its face with the amount of optimism and the high spirits that's around. But there we are. That was the impression I got from watching the other clubs in the division. And there's some good goals being scored, but they all look like they can get good goals, and they all also look like they can concede them. And that's whether people will say that about us, I don't know. Just going back to the goalkeeper, Glyn's point there about Bender being, not having played much football. I think coming into a new club cold is not easy. I mean, last season, Lucas Jensen came to us and looked a bit wobbly, didn't he, in the early games? Bender obviously had the wobble yesterday to concede the equaliser. He did do very well overall, I felt. But, even if I think back to when Martia Sarkic came to us, he also looked a little bit not quite on it in his early... He matured, he warmed up and got there in the end. Same with Jensen, and I'm hoping to say the same about Stephen Bender. Wonderful chant, dear listeners. Let's not dwell on the chants. I'm sure the Daily Mail will fill you in absolute detail about the chant. If not, then have a listen to the live coverage. It's wonderful stuff, very amusing. I thought the FA charges must be in the pending file, mustn't they? Ivanovic quite said, Harry, yeah, that's true. What struck me, and I said the same about NegliH earlier on, I thought he was quiet. But what we do have now are players who can have quiet games overall, and Ivanovic maybe was a quiet one by his standards, but that little run and cut back for the Aziz chance, which 9 times out of 10, Aziz puts that in the back of the net, and he was unlucky to blast it over from close range. He probably came at him very quickly, didn't have time to get enough focus on it and put it over. But the run and cut back by Ivanovic was top draw. So if that's a quiet game, then it's not a bad situation to be in, where our quiet players can produce match-winning moments. There we are, dear listeners. One last advertising break, then we're going to play the rest of the show out with back-to-back voice notes. We're going to go with Rob Woodford. We're going to go with a new voice, Martin Colwell, Mark Barnes, and Lawrence Binney. So I'm going to say a huge thank you at this stage for everyone's contributions. Do give me a shout on X if you if you would like to contribute to the show. More the merrier, more all welcome. And we'll be back after these messages with the remaining voice notes. So until the next edition, when I'm going to be speaking with Murph Payne later about his new book, 1985. My voice is giving up on me. I'm going to say Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now, dear listeners. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned.
Achtung, Millwall.
Well, we've had a long 3 months waiting for the new season to start, but an even longer 57 years to wait for a win at Carrow Road. And there are only 7 players alive today who played in that game. What a roller coaster existence we have as lifelong Lions fans, Nick, but it's great to be back again as one of your dear listeners. I thought recruitment in the close season was really sensible, especially turning loan players into permanent signings and continuing to bring down the age of our squad. A good pre-season, looking sharp in all the games, but away to Norwich City was always going to be a tough opener. And they underachieved last season, didn't they? As you would expect to have a much higher finish than 13th, scoring 71 goals. And to be honest, we overachieved with an 8th place finish, 3 points off the playoffs, with a poor return of 47 goals. But there was a lot of optimism in the camp for this season, both from the head coach and the fans. Norwich being the home side with 11 new signings, a new head coach who's a Norwich fan, and a full house. They were always going to take the game to us, weren't they? Going into this game, I was more concerned about the performance than the result, bizarrely. That's because whatever the result, it wouldn't define our season. And we grew into the game, played well defensively, closing down their space and getting crucial blocks in when it mattered. And this is also a Millwall side that make fewer unforced errors from where I'm sitting. We started to give them some problems, particularly when we've got the ball wide. A freakish goal to concede, yeah, but the keeper will get better. He's just short of minutes and was playing in a cauldron of an atmosphere. And he did make a great reaction save in the second half. Sargent played the dark arts and tried to get Coop sent off. A bastard of a man, really. We deserved to win that game. And what a magnificent performance from Alfie Doughty. And we can hurt teams this season by playing quick passing football through the thirds and getting the ball wide. 2 boys in midfield were also immense today. But what a superb goal to win any game of football. Alfie's pass and Macca's finish, both sublime. And what a magnificent result. I expect the squad to be rotated for Tuesday and a chance for the squad players to get some minutes to be match fit, match ready for the long season ahead. For those of you who say you don't care about the League Cup, well, bollocks to that, because we've got a big squad now and these lads need competitive football. All being fit, the same starting 11 against Borough. Can't wait. Full house. Come on, you Lions.
Hi Nick, it's Martin Cole here. Welcome back to for a new season. I I didn't go to the Norwich game today because I have to work on Saturdays till 12 o'clock now. So I'm only going to get to Charlton away and QPR away. I doubt if I'll make any of the others. But yeah, good result today. On a positive note, I thought we did well. After initial 20 minutes, we created chances. We scored 2 goals, and our XG was 1.49, which is unheard of last season. I can't remember us having a 1.49. Maybe we had 1, but I don't remember that. We just couldn't take some of the chances, but that's football. And we obviously gave away a much avoidable goal. But yeah, good performances all round, I thought. Great support up there from those that went. Norwich weren't a bad team. I know they've got a lot of other players, but they weren't a bad team and they know how to attack. Didn't think much of them at the back. In terms of players who played well today, I think that Jake Cooper had a solid game. I thought Alfie Doughty was a bit off with his delivery today, but it's only his first proper game. Tristan Kramer had a good game. I still think we lack a bit of creative ball players in midfield. Billy Mitchell and Casper Dino work very hard, but they're not the most creative. They tend to play more simple balls. But both wide players did well, and as I say, Negley took his goal well. Very pleased that Macaulay Langstaff managed to get on and take his chance like he was taking chances in when he played in the lower leagues. Thought the Serb struggled to get into the game. Coburn was doing his thing, but lacks a bit of pace. So, it's hard to play up to him. But Langstaff was a good alternative. What I was impressed was that the strength of our subs bench, that, sometimes I used to think that when we brought on subs, they weren't really up to it. But I thought that all of the substitutions showed that they can play at that level. So that was very good. Can't get carried away with one game, obviously, but liked the way we played, the way we defended for the first 20 minutes and then played. Lots of things to improve, and obviously we'll pick up injuries along the way, so we'll have to see what the players who are going to come in can do. But overall, it's an excellent result, and that's what you'd take. So let's go forward. Let's give the players who didn't play a chance at Newport. They had another good win today, so they will give step opposition. But let's put out a team to give the other players a go in that game, and then we'll see what we can do against Middlesbrough, who won their first game today at home, and see where we go from there. But thanks, Nick, and come on, you Lions.
Hello, Nick Hart. It's Barnsley here. Wow. What a fantastic performance it was today. We were, first 20 minutes, we were a bit under the cosh, but, we handled it so well. Cooper looked a little bit, off the pace, but, that shows a true captain when he comes in and sort of says, yeah, I'm having a bad game. And then, second half, he was just outstanding. I think we handled them very well. We soaked up the pressure, and towards the second half of the first period, I think we sort of dominated, which was lovely to see. Negley had a great shot, keeper saved it, and I think we felt very comfortable in my eyes, and that's not a normal thing for us supporters. And we were like, second half we're going to come out, and that's exactly what we did. Femi Aziz was phenomenal on the left-hand side. And, what he was doing, I thought was, great running at players. He just looked a class above everyone. And Kramer bombing down the right, Tangango and Cooper were just soaking it up and just playing it simple. The goalkeeper looked comfortable, and, Doherty, whatever you want to call him, but he just looked, he just looked like he'd been there for years. and then we scored the goal. It was a great finish from Negley. We looked comfortable. I think we could have gone on maybe 2. We're looking so comfortable. And unfortunately, our goalkeeper, first game, we've probably got with an issue with it. First game with goalkeepers, Jensen for the corner last year against Watford, but he conceded the goal, but it didn't affect him, did it? But the best thing about it, it didn't look like the team was affected by that mistake. They just carried on, and that's what's so beautiful about this team. It feeds into supporters as well. We're feeling confident in our team, and I think that feeds to supporters and their players, and having Neil in charge. We feel like we're a different team, and we feel like a different animal now, don't we? And we're going out there. We feel, we can win games. We love to be the underdogs, but now we're like, yeah, we're underdogs, but we can play. We got good players. Have that confidence in the team, and that's what we feel now. They scored. Sargent was rolling about like everything, like he normally does. Like these top players, like do that, get free kicks. But after the goalkeeper mistake, we kind of grew into the game a bit more, and Crammer. What a player! This guy is. He's not a right back. He looks a right back to me, and and then obviously Femi Aziz missed that chance, but it didn't affect him. Everyone was supporting him. Like as soon as that Ivanovic, tap on the head, come out. Don't worry about it, mate. We get another one, and that's what this team's about. Like it's like we're going to score goals. We're going to, Billy Mitchell today. He was drawing fouls. He was doing silly fouls in the right areas. So the referee didn't book him. He got booked towards the end, but he works so hard. That fellow is, he's massive to us. What he doesn't do is what he does do, if that makes any sense. But he is that little, that glue that we need that fella to do, and just be that person to help Casper. Maybe if he goes forward, he holds back and things like that. But today I thought he was, he was doing stupid little fouls in the right areas, if that makes any sense. But he was brilliant today, and I'm so proud of him. He's not had a good pre-season, but he's a massive player for us, and I think people need to understand that fellow is a big player for us. Casper, brilliant. Back four was brilliant today. And then obviously, up front, Coburn wasn't his best game. I wanted to be that bit more aggressive, but he come out, he did his job, brilliant. Ivanovic didn't really have that support today. But I think, on that side, just that little bit more aggression from Coburn, and he's going to be a player. And then obviously they made the changes. What a change. Langstaff comes on. I know every single Millwall supporter wants that fella to do well, and he works so hard. And he was a carbon copy for me from the Sutton goal in the pre-season. Plays it down that flank, splits the defence, and what a finish. Nuts the keeper. And you can tell what the players, they all run to him. Everyone's so chuffed. But we look so comfortable. And I think that's what Alex Neil was giving that, the team and supporters, that little bit of belief where we're like, we can achieve stuff. It's the first game. We've all got excited, but I'm so proud of everyone. And the supporters up there were phenomenal today. You could hear them, and it's what it's all about. And, we're living the dream now. If we can continue doing what we're doing, be hard to beat, anything can happen. And it's only one game, but we've got to be a little bit, rake it a little bit, but why not dream? Why not dream? But I'm on the old Alex Neil train, and I think everyone else should be as well. So roll on. We've got a game against Newport, and then we got the Borough game. But what a start! First win since 1968. Bring it on. So proud of the boys. So proud of the supporters. Enjoy your night, mate. So good to have you back, and let's enjoy yourself. Let's enjoy it. Let's have fun. We're gonna have a good season. I hope. I really hope. Take care, mate. See you later.
Right, Nick, it's Lawrence Spinning here, calling in after Norwich 1, Millwall 2. And rather than kind of find my own words to sum up what we've just seen, I think it might be more apropos to leave it to John Cleese in the film Clockwork as an opening prologue to this voice chat, as it were.
It's not the despair, Laura. I can stand the despair. It's the hope.
Yeah, it's the hope that kills you, isn't it, Nick? I think any Mill fan from any generation really can relate to that.
whether you've been through the good times or the bad. There's this sense always that when we get a good result, especially against a well-fancying team, it will be a backs-to-the-walls job. We are not used to being on the front foot. But fucking hell, we were on the fucking front foot today. We were absolutely outstanding. I'll take it chronologically because I feel like that's the best way to organise my thoughts. But in that opening 20 minutes, I really did fear we were in for another harrowing experience at Carrow Road. They were a lot sharper than us. They were a lot quicker. They were moving the ball around quite fast. We really struggled to get into the game. We really couldn't get our foot on the ball. But we rode it out, you know. I mean, Carlo Ancelotti, you know, he knows a thing or two about football. He has a saying that sometimes as a team, you have to suffer. You have to suffer. And we suffered in those first 20 minutes. But boy, when we got to that 20-minute mark, I have never seen a Millwall team take control of a game quite like that. And it wasn't Pep Guardiola, tiki-taka, triangle passing. It was good old-fashioned, down the wings, pressing them back, like win it back in your own half, spread the ball wide, stretch them. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It really, like, you know, my era, my golden era. I was 10 years old in the 99-2000 season. I was very lucky. That is the best Millwall team I've ever seen, 99-2000, and in 2001-2002. It was reminiscent of that. And you can see the talents emerging here. I thought, you know, like, I'm going to go maybe in descending order, but Aziz, just like, you know, his composure, his ability to wriggle out of spaces on the left, to put that ball in every time is like nearing Premier League quality. In fact, the fact that he's relaxed, I think, actually didn't serve him too well for that chance. And we're not going to talk about that too much because that was a fucking nightmare of a missed chance, open goal. But, you know, like, who gives a fuck? I thought Negley was very quiet, but he took a chance when it came. And he's that sort of goal-scoring type that we need. Like last season, we had, who did we have? We had like Watmore, we had Honeyman, we had Bradshaw, and now we've got players like Negley, we've got Ivanovic, we've got Coburn, we've got Doughty, we've got Aziz. It's the step up is unreal in 12 months. Just going into my next, so Doughty and Kramer on the left and the right, just, I think, changed the game for us, honestly. Like, that width completely killed Norwich. It completely stretched them. They felt so vulnerable. You could see they felt so nervous on the ball every time they got it in their defence, because they knew that if they lost it, we would be swamping them from left and right. The ability to switch the play from Denor, from Billy Mitchell, who I think might have been my man of the match today, absolutely outstanding. Tanganga, like, you know, it's really weird praising Tanganga in a performance where actually we didn't have a lot to do, but like when we needed to clean up at the last moment, you know, like when those, like, the first, the second, the third line of defence is breached, he was always there to clear. He made a fantastic block early on in that 20-minute period in the first half that kept us in it. Ivanovic, fantastic work for the first goal. Didn't really get much of a sniff today. Again, you know, first goal, he starts to move. He should have had an assist today. Aziz should have buried that chance. Fantastic. I thought that Coburn battled well, but didn't really have much of a sniff. But that's absolutely fine because we need a battler in there. The only negatives really on that Bender mistake, which is such a freak. I mean, I think he didn't really put a foot wrong apart from that. And Cooper, who was just so strange to talk about Cooper in a negative light, but probably maybe, you know, in the next couple of years, a player we might need to replace, but looks a little bit slow on the ball. Other than that, did very well in the air and got to grips with Sargent, but also quite lucky not to get sent off. And Langstaff absolutely made up for him. He got his chance. He took it with aplomb. You know, like if he can do that, you know, 6-7 times the rest of the season, you know, he's going to be invaluable for us. I can't, you know, I'm gushing, but like I've never been in a position where I've had so much to talk about because we've, as a team, given the fans so much to talk about, you know, like it's really encouraging, Nick. I think I might be more, you know, Graham Chapman up in the old cross rather than sort of like bemoaning our sort of propensity to fuck it up constantly. Maybe we need to look on the bright side of life. But yeah, it's quite an incoherent ramble. But thank you so much for listening, mate. It's great to be back. Great to have you back. And fucking hell, looking forward to Middlesbrough. Come on, you Lions!
I want to give a shout out to our friends John Kelly and Will Scott over at News at Den. Many of you will know that News at Den is the go-to site for everything Millwall. It's part of the Southwark News, the only newspaper with a dedicated Millwall reporter who follows the Lions all over the country. What you may not know is that Southwark News is an independent small business with no investors, no big media company, nor multi-millionaire owners. It's a rare breed, a local paper for local people. And John and Will get the Millwall stories that no one else can. A lot of their stuff is free to read, but the in-depth pieces are for subscribers only. It's just £3 a month or £30 a year, and we think it's a proper bargain. By paying, you're supporting local journalism done the right way. You can sign up by visiting southwarknews.co.uk and clicking on the News at Den section. southwarknews.co.uk, click on News at Den Plus.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.